Inside the Oasis project bid, there's a lot of ways to actually mark up items, add overage and profit and so forth to a particular project and send it out to whoever your customer is. Now, when it comes time to buy this out, what we recommend is actually doing a file new bid like. Now, again, if it's a small project, very simple, I'm sending it out to just a couple of customers, no special stuff going on, you really don't need to do this. But what is nice is I can do a new bid like. It'll copy that bill of material over, including whatever the pricing is that I had on it, and I can call it whatever I want. One thing I like to do is call this a buy, okay? So now I can identify this as being buying out the project. I've already sold it to somebody who sent me a note and said, hey, I want to buy it for, basically in this case, $1,899.72. Great. Well, how am I going to bill this? Especially as a rep, I could resell some items. I could bill it through the factory or whatever the case is. In distribution, it's pretty much the same thing. I can pull this over into a BuyBid and really clean it up, for lack of a better term, and identify the items that I want to bill and how I'd like to bill them. Simplifying things, for lack of a better term. Now, whether you're a rep or distributor or manufacturer, what a lot of folks will do is they'll create a layout, and one of those layouts will call buy. And I've already showed this right here in that I show a resale column, a cost column, and a sell and other items in here, just giving me the ability to real quickly take a look at everything that's going on here. So the first thing I like to do is, in the case of this fundamental lighting, I don't want to resell it. I want to actually allow the factory to bill that to the distributor. I'm acting as a distributor in this case, and all I want to do is just look at those items. Well, there is a feature in Oasis, whether you're a distributor or rep, to actually show one factory at a time, and it's basically show or hide rows, and it allows you to filter the factory. In this case, I'll just identify the fundamental lighting, nothing else. Hit OK. In this case, all I will do is go through and all my fundamental lighting items is simply unchecked resale, which allows me basically to, in this case, $12 at 10% and the factory will bill it. $5 at 10% and the factory will bill it. So I don't have to worry about billing anything. And if I need to adjust anything or do a quote to the factory, that's fine as well. I can set all that up. But let me go ahead and identify all the other items. And if I'm real crazy, I can actually drag and drop this item over, this column over here, and just simply uncheck them. By the way, do not worry about the kit lines. They'll take care of themselves. Okay. And by the way, it refreshed saying, hey, those are no longer basically what I had before. Hit that and fundamental lighting. Everything shows. And I can uncheck anything else that shows as fundamental lighting. Looks good there. I want to get real fancy. Look good. Okay. So now I will send the factory, in this case fundamental lighting, a order for whatever I have on the project. Let me go ahead and reset everything. I still have a lamp factory, and as mentioned before, I could switch that over to a factory I'm actually buying from. In this case, I'll just leave it as lamps because I really don't have a good example as to which factory I'm buying from. But I could switch over to the specific factory I'd like to buy from and identify the cost and sell associated with that particular factory. So I'll leave that as is for the moment. I definitely want to double check things. So in this case, it looks like I have spare lamps. For some reason, I didn't include cost on that. I'll put in $1 there, $1 there. And basically, all I would like to do is chase the yellow off the form, okay? So no yellow there, I'm good. By the way, if I'm doing overage on this, or adding overage to this particular item when I'm billing it out, I would definitely want to chase all yellow off this, make sure that I have all the overage columns identified. Again, overage, if it's less than the sell price, I'm having the factory bill overage on this item for whatever my terms are associated with that factory. In this case, 80/20. But I'm not doing that in this case. I'm actually moving all the money to my resale items, in this case, lamps. Okay. So double check here, lamp there. It looks like I missed a column there. Again, normally I would do this when I'm billing it out or when I'm actually quoting it out. It looks like I just missed a few items as I'm going through here. Okay. So WireGuard, looks like I missed a few items there as far as base, doesn't matter. Looks good, and I can chase down there, that's fine as well. Okay, so everything looks good at this point, and I'm really, if I had to explain this whole bit, I'm really would like to have this project look exactly like the orders that I would like to send out. And I can kind of confirm a few things by taking a look at the manufacturers and double checking the pricing associated with this. Again, more details there. Now, one thing I also do is I take a look at the option and say, okay, this is nice that I have the base there, and it's great when I'm quoting things out. Actually, there's a lot of tricks after I commit the orders that I could use options for as well. But most of the time when I'm initially creating the orders, I would like this bill of material to look exactly like the orders. I'm going to keep it very simple. So what I'll do is I'll simply remove the option line. And in this case, let's assume for a minute they're going to take the alternate. In other words, they will deduct type B and add in the kit here, and they'll keep the closet. That's fine. All right, so I'll remove that as well. Okay, so that's part of my project. I'm going to remove the alternate as well. And for argument's sake, I'll go ahead and remove all of the original type B, including up above where it shows type B. That's gone. Now, just for argument's sake, what I'd really like to do is move up. By the way, I need to remove that one as well. I'd like to move up type B where it's actually in line with everything else. So let me take a look at type B here. Lamps, that's fine as well. By the way, I'll put closet. I'll take these items, and without doing a lot of work, I'll simply use my move up and move down one row at a time to position those items as I'd like to see them on the quote. So as simple as that, I can print this, send those out to for my customer for final confirmation if I choose to, but usually I'm pretty much done at this point. Okay, so right now I have $1,862. I go back over here, $1,899. Probably what I did is I forgot something in here, and again I could go chase that money. Typically, you would do this. In my case, I'm simply showing Oasis here, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But normally, I'd want to find the money and make darn sure that I actually build that out because, hey, it's money lost. Main thing here I want to show is I've cleaned up this bill of material and made it look exactly like the order and the way I would like to bill that out to my customer, either through a factory or for myself. Okay. Now, the next thing I'll do is go through here and identify the customer. Now, you can set up Oasis and by default, it's going to reset all the customers as I create a new bid like. And there's a lot of reasoning behind that. But you can turn on a feature that will copy all the customers over to the new bid every time you do new bid like. So what I'll do in this case, I'll just manually add them back in. ABC distribution, that's fine. Long John Silver, it looks like the customer that the person that's associated here, and I have their email address. That's fine. Now I strongly recommend if you're a rep or a manufacturer to identify who the contractor is as well. So I'll add a contractor associated with that distributor, Orion Contractors. That's fine. And you could add in their contractor counts and so forth. Again, if you had set the feature, the global feature to copy those over, it would happen automatically. But the main thing is I've identified the distributor, I've identified the contractor, and this will move over to all the reports that I have so I can identify at the end of the year my hit rate for the distributor, the hit rate for the contractor, and so forth. So now what is the status? Well, I can mark this distributor as being the winning distributor. That's great. But what if I identify also the contractor? Well, that updates my report, so I now not only know the winning distributor, but also the winning contractor. Yes, I'd like to update that. And if I'd added in all the competitors that I have in my market, then if I select them, it'll mark this actually as a loss. So yes, ABC Distribution will buy it. Orion Contractors will install it, but I could be selling it from basically one of my competitors. Otherwise, I'll be selling it myself. So by default, it selects me. Great. I'm supplying the material. Hit OK, and I'm ready to go. The bottom line is this looks like the bill of material that I'll actually send over to the order entry system. Also, it identifies this quote as order pending. So I can run a report of all order pending quotes and monitor that. So if I send a quote breakout, which we'll do here in a second, to my distributor, and if I never hear back from them and I continue to run this report, maybe in a day or two I can ask them, like, did we really get the job? Or maybe their competitor got the job and I need to start asking their competitor, hey, did we get it? Or whatever the case is. So my competitor won't actually pick up on that and actually close the bill of material or close the business. So next thing I'll do is once I clean up the bill of material, I've selected the customer that's winning it with the contractor. If I'm a rep, I'll hit print. At this point, I'll do a manufacturer breakout. I'll select the customer that I have. Actually, that's automatic because they're already pre-selected. I'm sending it over to Mr. Long John Sliver. Next. Unit price if I like. Next. And at this point, I have a quote breakout, which shows basically the factory that I'm buying it through, in this case for resale, the fan manufacturer, because I still have the CQ line, fundamental lighting, all the items that are on there for the representative factory that I have, and a subtotal page that shows each total for each factory and a grand total for the entire project. Send that over to them. It's going to identify the factory, the individual, any of my salespeople. Again, that can be turned off or adjusted as required. Send that over, and we're ready to go.